Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Apple or Spotify or Google, please give me a 5-star rating. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which is a great platform that makes it easy to buy, sell, trade, and earn cryptocurrencies. Uphold is a platform I've been using for years. They have 10 plus million users. They're available in 150 countries. They have 200 plus cryptocurrencies. So if you'd like to learn more, please visit the link in the description. All right, my friends, what a day. And I want to start off with something very funny. I was literally laughing out loud. Someone has created a Jim Cramer ETF, but not just a Jim Cramer ETF, an inverse Cramer ETF. That's the actual name of the ETF, Inverse Cramer. Now, many of you know Jim Cramer is a clown on TV. I've often said, do not listen to this guy when it comes to investing. He's up there pushing narratives, pushing all types of mainstream media narratives, and it's not, made for you to make money. It's there for you to do the opposite, to allow the bigger Wall Streeters and these folks to manipulate folks, and they make the money, whether they're going long or they're going short. There's even a Twitter account many of you may be familiar with called Inverse Cramer. And essentially, the meme is do the opposite of everything Jim Cramer says or does. So that's what this ETF, the premise of it is. So this is just hilarious. But it speaks to how bad Jim Cramer's calls have been. And he just puts on a show on TV, and it's not financial advice. You should always do your own research. And I'm not even saying you should listen to me. I always say do your own research. Take the time, research the stocks, the crypto, whatever it may be that you're investing in, understand the market cycles, and so on and so forth. All right, with that funny piece of news out the way, let's get to some interesting news here. Many of you know, and I covered it on the channel, Gary Gensler and the SEC fined Kim Kardashian $1.26 million over her promotion or undisclosed promotion of the Ethereum Max coin. And we talked about how Gary used that as a PR opportunity. It's a PR stunt the SEC did, right? Where was Gary when Celsius was doing bad things and collapsing? Where was Gary when Terra Luna was collapsing, right? So he goes after low-hanging fruit, things that will make the headlines versus actually protecting investors. Well, something interesting happened. All the media stuff that Gary and the SEC did, Gary going on CNBC, they're putting out tweets, all types of well-edited videos and graphics. And guess what happened to that token? The price of Ethereum Max spiked 126% after the SEC unveiled this news. So Gary essentially pumped this token. He's the one that went on TV. He's the one that tweeted out his well-edited videos, the SEC putting out all types of graphics and so forth. And this coin, as I said in my previous video, is a garbage coin, a shit coin, right? There's no like major utility here. And Kim, of course, got fined for not disclosing she was a paid promoter. Now, the other aspect of this, guys, is other people are recognizing that Gary did this as a stunt. Here's the headline of an article released yesterday from Fortune magazine. The SEC's Kardashian fine was a dumb publicity stunt. And Gary's photo is, of course, the header image here. But here's some breaking news and insider news here from Charles Gasparino of Fox Business. So this is mainstream media now. They said the SEC enforcement staffers are complaining Gary Gensler violated protocol by hyping Kim Kardashian's settlement, appearing on CNBC within minutes of the case being announced. People with knowledge tell Fox Business. They are calling it a publicity stunt. Now listen to the rest of this. Designed to burnish his reputation to be named Treasury Secretary. So remember, we've been covering this here, guys, about Gary's goal is to get that Treasury job. He's not looking to protect investors. This is why he needs to be kicked out, and why, I've interviewed Congressman Tom Emmer, and I'll be interviewing Representative Huizinga soon. And we're going to talk about this. It's ridiculous. And they oversee the SEC, by the way. So as I said before, if the Republicans win the midterms here, we could see the SEC and Gary Gensler in big trouble. So Charles continues. He says here, they also say Gensler stealthily approached CNBC for his appearance and created a video on the settlement, an unusual move for chairs who usually allow staff to take credit for actions and pursue broader issues. So notice Gary started front running a bit, right? Forget about the staff, forget about the people at the SEC. I'm going to go on TV. And once again, this is to build his social clout. He wants to get the headlines out there. See, I'm doing my job. Ignore the losses in the Ripple lawsuits so far. Ignore the conflicts of interest with Bill Hinman and so forth. Now, the final part of this tweet is, it's the latest skirmish between Gensler and Enforcement Department that continues to lose attorneys amid complaints about Gensler's management style and workload as the SEC dives into non-traditional areas of enforcement, i.e. Corporate ESG mandates. SEC had no immediate comment. Gary getting exposed big time. And speaking of exposed, Empower Oversight, which is the nonprofit whistleblower organization that has been investigating and filing Freedom of Information Acts with the SEC to see what's going on here. Was there really a conflict of interest and corruption here with Bill Hinman? Well, they released some updates here saying the SEC oversight exposes, Empower Oversight exposes SEC's bad faith FOIA tactics in crypto conflicts lawsuit filing. So this is a press release released today. They said here that Empower Oversight filed its opposition to the SEC's motion for summary judgment in the ongoing FOIA lawsuit over documents related to conflicts of interest and selective enforcement in cryptocurrency cases. The filing demonstrates that the SEC intentionally misinterpreted the plain text of Empower Oversight's request, admittedly, oh my goodness, some days you can't say words, ignore statutory deadlines without a cause, and solicited search terms to locate documents, only to ignore those as well. The SEC has consistently resisted complying with its legal disclosure obligations, as Empower Oversight explained in its court filing this week. The SEC admittedly failed to provide a FOIA determination within the time required by law without citing any reason. So once again, SEC showing they lack integrity and that they're not here to protect investors, just acting shady. As Coinbase CEO once tweeted earlier this year, the SEC is acting shady. They said here, in short, per Empower Oversight's filing, the SEC acted unreasonably and in bad faith by asking Empower Oversight to provide the list of names, which it promptly provided and the SEC promptly ignored. So sad what this government agency is doing, but a new day is coming. And here, Ripple, they have replied to the SEC's opposition of the new amicus briefs with iRemit and TabJets. So James K. Filan tweeted out, Ripple slams the SEC and the SEC's opposition to the iRemit and TabJets motions to file amicus briefs. If the SEC cannot evaluate the veracity of such claims, then it had no business bringing this litigation in the first place. So once again, SEC getting exposed. All right, let's move ahead. We got some very, very big news. And I've often talked on this podcast and this channel about the token economy, and that is everything on the blockchain: contracts, securities, commodities, assets, things like real estate, cars, artwork, and so forth. And it is happening, my friends. And here's a big announcement today. Investment management firm Hamilton Lane, which has $832.5 billion in assets under management, will tokenize 3 of its funds in partnership with digital asset securities company Securitize. Many of you may recognize Securitize. I interviewed their president a couple of times, actually, years ago, and they're helping different businesses and companies to tokenize on the blockchain. I know for a fact they were doing Ethereum and Tezos. I'm not sure if they have any more, but guys, it's happening. That token economy we're heading to, and I hope you see what's happening and you're being patient and watching the building and the investment, and of course, positioning yourself, dollar cost averaging, and waiting for the bull market. So Hamilton Lane plans to give qualified US-based investors access to funds, providing exposure to direct equities, private credit, and secondary transactions, which will be tokenized via securitized digital transfer agency. According to an announcement Wednesday, the firm expects the tokenized funds will be available by the fourth quarter. The aim of tokenization is to make private market investment available to a broader set of investors. Private equity investments are generally accessible only to institutional or ultra and high net worth investors, but blockchain technology makes them available to individual investors too. So in a way, this is democratizing or crypto, and the blockchain is helping to democratize this and for more people to be able to invest, not just, if you're an accredited investor. So this is really great news. Now, many of you know I hold Chainlink in my portfolio. I'm bullish on it. I'm actually trying to get an interview with the founder, Sergey Nazarov. But Chainlink's been making a ton of progress, getting a lot of adoption. And here are two big news items. First, hedge fund 2 Sigma to provide data to blockchain information network Chainlink. The massive fund, which manages about $60 billion in assets, will provide derivatives-related data to Chainlink. Chainlink is being adopted, guys, by every blockchain out there. The Oracle technology and all the price feed data and so forth. They've really got a solution that folks want to use. So Chainlink offers price feeds and other data through its Oracle network, which can help Web3 developers get projects off the ground faster. 2 Sigma's market data includes swaps, options, and other derivative-related financial information. The addition comes a week after financial services firm Galaxy Digital joined Chainlink to offer crypto pricing data to blockchains. Here's a quote. As a market maker and data provider, we believe we can play an important role in helping to cultivate a healthy digital assets ecosystem, and we are excited by the value digital assets can bring to the financial marketplace as it evolves, said 2 Sigma Securities CEO Chris Marty in the press release. So bullish news if you're holding Link. The partnerships, the adoption, the expansions continue to grow, guys. And here's the other aspect, and we have covered this news, I think it was last week. Swift is using Chainlink, but here there's an article published today that they are turning bullish on CBDCs. So it seems they're seeing the light a bit here. Swift says it can be the way forward for global CBDCs. The financial messaging system said it has carried out transactions between different blockchain networks using both central bank digital currencies and fiat currencies. So the following experiments involving the central banks of France and Germany, as well as HSBC, NatWest, Standard Chartered, UBS, and Wells Fargo, Swift said it has carried out the transactions between the different networks and the CBDCs. So this is interesting, guys. Every bank seems to be jumping on the CBDC train here. And as we've said on this channel, I personally am concerned about the privacy issue. However, there's no stopping this. The world governments are doing this. So the bullish aspect to this is that the world governments, as they release these CBDCs, will educate the masses about blockchain. That is bullish for crypto. It will break down the barriers. It will help bring the education to the masses, who will then see that blockchain and crypto are legit technologies. Those who are on the fence. I'm not talking about you and I who get it, but those who are on the fence, those who have not taken the time to research or study it. So that's going to usher more people into the market. The privacy concern, that is a debate happening in the United States and different parts of the world. What are these central banks and governments going to do with the data, right? Watching everything that you purchase and where your money is going. And could that be used in a draconian way to limit your rights? And there's concerns about China's social credit system and so forth, but that's a whole other conversation for itself. Now, many of you know these CBDCs will be on different blockchains, some of the blockchains that you hold the tokens for. So that's bullish. So, overall, it will be bullish for the market and the token economy we're headed to. Now, Jack Mallers, I'm a big fan of Jack as an entrepreneur. Obviously, he's doing big things, and his project Strike, they have raised another funding round. This time, $80 million Series B. He was on CNBC today talking about what they're looking to do, talking about the Fed and the Bitcoin, why he's bullish on Bitcoin, and of course building with the Lightning Network. So I know some people are not a fan of Bitcoin and the Lightning Network, but I can't hate on Jack as an entrepreneur. He's building, and look, it's a free market, so everybody has to build and follow their vision, and let's see which projects get the adoption. That's what's the important part, right? Which one will the consumers and the businesses adopt? And that is the big question. It's similar to if you go back to the early 90s or late 90s with the multiple search engines that were in the market, your Lycos, your Googles, your MSN, and so on and so forth, right? Yahoo. And you see who eventually won that battle, right? So that's kind of what's playing out here. And whoever has the best technology and the more efficient and cheap way of moving money and doing payments will get the adoption. So it is what it is. Now, I recently interviewed the CEO of Paxos, and they're a regulated crypto company doing a lot of things. And here they have a big partnership that was announced today. They said our newest partnership, Paxos Regulated Blockchain Infrastructure, will power EDX Markets institutional custody and wallet infrastructure. Jamil Nazarali, CEO of EDXM, has called Paxos the most trusted name in digital assets. So we continue to see, despite the bear market, building, lots of building, investments, expansions. And this is the news you want to pay attention to as an investor, because they're building on the infrastructure and on and off ramps to bring more people into the market, and building on the blockchains once again and many of you hold the tokens for those said blockchains. And the more adoption, the more network adoption and building on these said blockchains will drive the price up and the value up of the native tokens. Now, today, we got news that there's a big crypto regulation update out of the EU. So the EU seals text of landmark crypto law MiCA fund transfer rules. Legal texts to license crypto firms and vet transactions were agreed to by national diplomats after a political deal struck in June. So big stuff happening in the EU, and I think they are ahead of the United States when it comes to crypto regulations. So at a Wednesday meeting, diplomats representing the bloc's member governments in the EU's council signed off on the text of laws, which were the subject of political deals struck in June. Apparently, without further discussion, a source briefed on the talks told CoinDesk. MiCA introduces the first ever licensing regime for crypto wallets and exchanges to operate across the bloc, and imposes reserve requirements on stablecoins that are intended to avoid Terra-style collapses. That's important, and I'm assuming that's going to be the same thing that's going to happen here in the United States. The stablecoin laws are going to be, I think, common sense, right? They have to have the reserves. There needs to be some sort of auditing, maybe a monthly report that they need to send to government agencies, right? And I think that's important, guys. They don't need to know everything, but they at least need to know the collateral. If I'm using USDC, I need to make sure Circle has the collateral and they're reporting and they're regulated, right? Not saying they're not, but we all know the questions that have come into play with Tether. And then obviously we saw what happened with Terra. So a separate law on funds transfers requires wallet providers to check their customers' identity in a bid to cut money laundering. So, guys, the guardrails being put into place, all good stuff. Sometimes the governments get things wrong, like you remember the infrastructure bill and so on and so forth. But overall, we're moving in the right direction. I've been here since 2016, and the things that are happening now are just mind-blowing. It's amazing, because once there was taboo to talk about crypto, no one in the government wanted to talk about it, no one wanted to be associated with it. Now it is the emerging tech, the new asset class. Everybody's jumping on this train. Now, speaking of everyone jumping on this train, Japan's prime minister says the country plans to invest in NFTs and Metaverse services. Wow. Country, governments looking to make the investments, they know this is the future of GDP growth, the future of the economy. And once again, tokenization and everything on the blockchain, atomic settlements, interoperability, and 24/7 trading on the market. So big time. In a recent speech, Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida announced plans to extend the use of Web3 services to bring about digital transformation. To do so, the country will scale up investments in NFTs and the metaverse. In his speech to Japan's parliament, Kishida stressed that the government's investment in Japan's digital transformation already encompass issuing NFTs to local authorities using technology to cater to jurisdiction-specific issues. Guys, NFTs are going to be used by the government and by different corporates and aspects of our lives. It's not just artwork. It's going to be contracts. It's going to be receipts. It's going to be policies and whatever it may be. So NFTs are a form of tokenization, of course. So don't be surprised if, like, the government, I don't know, your voter ID, right? Your voter ID is going to be on the blockchain via an NFT. Don't be surprised if that's it. You know, you have a wallet, you walk up to the voting booth, you open up a QR code, they scan it, and they're able to verify on the blockchain you are who you are. Right. So that's what's coming. And your driver's license and all that, it's going to be like that, guys. Not to say they're going to do away with the physical aspect, but you're going to have it on the blockchain. And if you don't have the physical one on you, you can just show it on your phone. That's what's coming. So full tokenization, guys. Final news here. Nexo, the crypto lending platform, they tweeted out today, which was a good confirmation that they're going to be committed to supporting the Flare airdrop, the token airdrop. So we know that is coming soon. We're waiting for the Flare folks to let us know the exact dates. They did say later in October, of course, but it depends on the exchanges. So I'm excited, guys, to get my Flare tokens. And this is for those who are XRP holders who are eligible, who participated in the snapshot. So we'll just have to wait and see what the exact date is. And you know, you can do some cool things with the Flare tokens. Look, you could sell it if you want, or you can delegate it and wrap it and keep earning and all that. But note that they're not distributing the full amount initially. It's going to be in phases. And this is probably allow, you know, folks to not dump all their tokens as soon as it comes out, because that would not be good. But anyway, good to see Nexo is participating if anyone had any questions about that. All right, my friends, that is the news. Please let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Leave 5 stars on the podcast platforms, and I'll talk to you all later.